Hey everybody, Brendan Schneider here. Thanks for joining me. This is the first Facebook Live Q&A I've done, and just wanted to talk a little bit about what I wanted to accomplish today. So the first thing I wanted to do is talk about the software that I'm using. Well, let me back up. I've been on spring break. It's been fantastic, and one of the things that's great about spring break is that it allows me to kind of clear my head, relax, get away from things, and think about SchneiderB stuff, which is always fun for me. And one of the things that I realized that I needed to start doing was more live video. I talk about the importance of live video, how it can help your school. I know it's difficult, but it's one of those things that I figured, well, if I'm going to talk about it, I better start doing it. So here we are. So what I want to do is really three things. The first is talk about this software. So BeLive.tv is the URL, and BeLive is the software that I'm using here. So I wanted to check this out, and there are a couple cool features. You can see the, let's see, right here, you can see the branding. You can add your logo, so you could add your school logo if you're thinking about doing Facebook Live. I have this agenda feature here, so right now I'm talking about the BeLive software, and then you can add that. We're also going to do questions, and then I want you to comment at the end when this is done. So let's move on. And I see a number of you here. Thanks for being here. I know this was kind of impromptu, but I thought, what the heck? And then here's the great thing. Let's move into your marketing questions. So one of the things that I need to do is, if you have a marketing question that I can answer, if you can type it in the comments box, and then I will, again, great part of this software is try to figure out how it works. So if you'll bear with me for a moment. And this will also give you a chance. So if you have a marketing question, ask it in the comments, and then you'll see a really cool thing I can do with the software as we go through this Q&A. So one of the things, I have some people requesting to be in the group. So I'm sorry about that. Let me add that quickly. The next thing I can do is find the Q&A. So here are the questions. Great. So here's a question. This is a cool thing. This is from David. Hi, David. Thanks for being here. Oh, that's right on my face. That's not great. Oh, no, it's down. Sorry. There's two screens. So if you play with the software, there's the live screen, and then there's a screen that I see. So this is from David. With this software, again, the software is BeLive. Does it also save the production so it can be repurposed? David, that's something we're going to figure out. Now, I know what will happen is that it's going to post this to, oh, hi, Dana. It's going to post this to the Facebook group, so it'll be a live video that'll be there. I think the only repurposing I can do is take the embed from Facebook and potentially put it on the blog, so it'll be embedded from Facebook. I hope that answers your question. If I learn more, I'll definitely share it or put it in the comments of this broadcast. So let's see. Another question. Bill Stites. Happy belated birthday, Bill. I'm comforted in knowing that you're always going to be older than me, so that's a positive. How are you dealing with Snapchat? Oh, that's a good question. Here's how we're dealing with it. We're really not using it for marketing at school right now. There's a lot of reasons. Probably the biggest, well, there's two big reasons why we're not. The first is just bandwidth. You know, as people that follow the work that we do at Swiftly Academy with inbound marketing and blogging and all the other channels, we just kind of ran out of space, mental space, to do the work that we need to do. And at any rate, we just felt like, you know, at Snapchat, we're going to push off and see what happens. The other reason I didn't really jump into Snapchat full force is that there was no way to drive anybody, you know. So, and that's again the problem I had with Instagram. Although now you can advertise on Instagram and then you can click a link, but in Snapchat, you know, you put up a photo or a video or whatever, and there's no way to drive people back to a web asset to convert them into an inquiry. So we thought it was, again, not having the bandwidth, not being able to drive people we're just going to push it back. I know there's some schools who are using it. I haven't really talked to anybody that's been super happy with it. If you are, maybe post in the comments, and then we can talk about that and I'll learn more. Let's see. David says, interesting, but sort of disappointing. Would be better, best, in my opinion, if we could also then go to YouTube. Let me put this up, everybody. David, that's a great point. There's another software that I'm going to try. This is pretty slick, but there's another software I'm going to try that's from Ecamm. So ECAMM. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's their first thing, and you can post. It's a downloadable software product that resides on the Mac, and then you can go straight to Facebook Live. And I'll see if that has repurposing. That would be really cool, David, to put this then in YouTube. I'll try it, but I'll let you know. I'll reach out and let you know. Let me see here. So Bill put as a follow-up, thanks, Bill. We're doing well with Snapchat in athletics as a tool with students, etc. So here's the question, Bill. Is that based on, so when you say you're doing well, is it based on follows? Is it based on interaction that you're getting? Because I guess, again, if you have the bandwidth, and I know you're geeky like me and are a lot of social media channels, and I mean that as a positive, as a term of endearment, the geek comment, but I could see that as a retention piece, like getting people excited about the stuff that's going on campus. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see, Jon Holmes here. Thanks for being here, John. Do you know of any student that has an admission-specific app? Any thoughts on this? So, John, when you talk about admission-specific app, I wonder if you could comment again. What exactly do you mean? As a way to convert people or as a way to get information out? Here's my general rule of thumb with apps. I'm not a huge fan of apps for schools. Again, we're able to get across a lot of the information we need from being mobile responsive. The issue with apps, or kind of the hang up I have, is that I think the app has to be so valuable, so kind of enticing and important to get somebody. So here's my phone. I mean, think about the apps that you have. You've got to have a really good reason to download it and go back to it again and again and again. So as long as you're providing a lot of value, and I think as long as you can provide notifications, although people can turn those off, I think I would kind of steer clear of that. But maybe I'm interpreting your question wrong. So don't be afraid to follow up in the comments here. So let me go back to the comments. So I'm looking through here. Dana, David, I agree. So David's commenting on Snapchat, deprioritizing Snapchat. ROI for so many has been less than minimal. Again, that's why, Bill, we'll have to follow up and see. John, if you want to follow up. Hi, Megan. And then Mia. Hi, Mia. How are you? Let's see. Here's a question from Missy. What events ideas do you suggest for end of the year focus on retention? Oh, that's a good question. For me, a lot of it goes to the timing of re-enrollment contracts. So if you've already sent your re-enrollment contracts out, maybe there's stuff that you do differently, if you haven't sent them out already or not sent them out. One of the things I would do is, again, as you're talking about retention, especially with social media, the way I think about social media is two ways. So the first way is that I'm going to post something on social media and drive them back to a web asset, a blog or a website where they can click on a call to action and I can convert them into an inquiry. Most importantly, I can get their email address. So that's the one path. And I think that's recruitment. So the retention piece for me, at least I think about social media, is kind of 21st century word of mouth. What great content can you post to Facebook to kind of drive home the investment those parents are making in school, specifically as it relates to what's most important to your parent body. Now, I realize that if you have 500 parents, there could be 500 different things that are important to them, but there's probably one or two at least that are kind of universal. So anything that you can do to highlight that, I think would be helpful, especially as it relates to retention. Maybe if you don't do this regularly, go get in the classroom and post photos or maybe short videos of what people are doing. Again, I think social media is a way to kind of peel the curtain back and show people, like what's happening at school, because parents don't have that option to get into campus, or I'm sorry, get into the classroom and see what's going on. So I hope that helps. So here's John's follow-up. A phone app that would work to guide families through the process. I haven't seen anybody do that, John. That would not be, I would not spend a lot, personally, again, this is my opinion, I would not spend a lot of time trying to do that because it's just, for me, it's one more thing that the family has to do. Unless they can create and do what they need to do with the process. John followed up here too. Let's see, I'm jumping around. Here's the longer. Let's see if it blocks me. It's okay. You don't need to see my ugly mug. But it's we were brainstorming and thought that an app could be a great way to centralize content that supports a potential family's exploration of the school. Think a central portal with video content, audio, and visual content. But yes, I share your concerns. Yeah, that would be great. If you guys develop that, let me get on the ground floor and we'll sell it to everybody. That sounds interesting. But all kidding aside, I think an app would only be beneficial if you, and let me hide this one. I think it would only be beneficial if the family was able to do the process in the app. So submit online recommendations, submit the application, not the app. Because one of the things that I'm focused on and really want to start to talk about is that I think as schools, I'm going to jump on my soapbox for a sec. I think at schools, we need to do a better job of making the admission process easier for families. We've got a lot of hurdles. In Pittsburgh, at least at Swickley Academy, we see a lot of first-generation independent school families. So families that have no idea that we have a process, have no idea that there's all this stuff to do. So I think it's worthwhile to try to make it as simplified as possible. So if you can include an app that simplifies that process, I'm all for it. If you have any question about it, then I wouldn't spend the time or money doing it. Let me go through some other. So Bill's following up on Snapchat, which is great. Snapchat mostly internal, retention and a tool for keeping engaged in the school. Students that graduate stay on so we can keep them engaged where they are and as an alum building the, okay. I think it's great. I'd love to talk to you about that. Maybe we can do a little case study, Bill, and share that out with the audience, because I'm sure people are really questioning, how and what to do with Snapchat. Let me see here. So Missy had a question. Here's Bill. So Anna was commenting, we have an app. Or Amy, I'm sorry. We have an app for our current families, not a tool for prospective families. Our families love it, and it has proven very valuable. Amy, can I ask a question, and can you follow up? Is it an app that was? So, are you using one of the big school website providers? Is it a Final Site or Blackbaud or RenWeb or whatever? Is it an app provided by them, or is it something that you did separately? If you could follow up, I would love to know how that works for you. So here's Megan. Any ideas on some content we can add for lead gen purposes to our website? Right now, we're offering view book for email addresses submitted, thinking maybe something like top 10 reasons to attend boarding school, etc. Yeah, Megan, it's a great question, and I'll hide this. I go back to these things I call inquiry magnets, and just a little teaser. I'm creating an online course right now that's going to teach this whole process. But I think what you have to do is provide something that, it is kind of, I don't like the funnel anymore, but top of the funnel. But, again, okay, let me break this down. So if you have a persona, family you're going after, and then you have an inquiry magnet to attract that persona. So our example that I've talked about a lot is our 27 questions to help you evaluate a school for your child. And that is really designed for pre-K through 5 families as they look at independent school for the first time for their lower school child. And we find that that's a much lower barrier to entry than reaching out to fill out the inquiry form. And the reason is so if we have this 27 questions, we only ask really, well, it's first name, email address, and the grade they're interested in, just so we could segment. We find people are much more willing to give that information than to do an inquiry form. I actually believe that once they fill out the inquiry, I mean, that's so far down the research process for families now that once they fill out the inquiry form, they're kind of raising their hand to say, you know, your school is worthy to market to me because we've done the research and we feel good about it. So anything you can think about, like, so we've got 27 questions to help you evaluate a school for your child. We have pre-K pre-K checklist, 13 things to look for in a pre-K for your child. And then we have a thing we just launched, a college research worksheet, which is really designed for families kind of in that 9, 10, the high school age. And these are PDFs. I call them inquiry magnets, and then we drop them into lead nurturing because we get their email, and then hopefully push them along to an app. So that was a long answer to your question. Hope that helps. So John, we were brainstorming and thought that, oh, already read that. Sorry. Okay, so David has some good questions or comments in the comments. So Anna shared up. Thanks, Anna. So no, it's a WordPress site. Okay. Here's some follow-up. Thanks, Amy. I keep calling you Anna. I'm sorry. Hi, Amy. Separate app, and it houses everything for our families, but does not require a login. Billy, many of our areas on the app are fed directly from our website via RSS feed. Okay, that's pretty slick, but you have the flexibility because of WordPress, so I think that that's great. I think, let me look. I think that's all the questions. Again, I have a little more time here. If you have any other questions, feel free. What I'll do, let me hide this. So again, learning the software, everybody. Hi, Andreas. Have you thought about using, oh, wait, I can do this. By the way, I think this might cut off at 20 minutes. So I just wanted you to know that the final thing is, if you think this is worthwhile and you want me to start to do this regularly, so if you're watching this live or you're watching a recording, post it in the comments. Say, do it more. Brendan, I don't want to see your face again. Let me know. I'd love to know what your thoughts are about this format. So Andreas, hi Andreas. Have you thought about using chatbots? I started experimenting with them at SchneiderB, but quite frankly, I'm going to slow down with them right now. Part of the thing is that, I don't know if you've seen in the news, but with Cambridge Analytica and Facebook is getting killed with privacy, they have stopped the addition of new chatbots until they fix those privacy settings. So I'm waiting to see. Andreas is saying, do it more. Oh, do this more. Okay, great. I thought you meant chatbots. Sorry. But I'm playing with chatbots. We'll see where I go. If you go to the website, it says I'm off right now because I'm here, but we're using Drift, D-R-I-F-T. So it's like an online chat you can add to even your school website, and they have an app on the phone so that somebody can, if they have a question live, you get the question on the phone, and it's great. So, let's see here. So there's Andres. Let me see. So people are commenting. So I think I'm going to get kicked off here in a couple minutes. Again, really sorry for the spur of the moment. This has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're watching it again, if you're watching it live or watching the recording, please make sure to comment more of this, less of this. The one thing is that I'll have to probably do it in the evening, just based on time, because I do like my job and I'd like to keep it. So it's hard for me to do this stuff during the day, but I'm on spring break, so it works. So short time. I think that's it for everybody. And then, I see people have more questions, but I know I'm going to get kicked off. Here's what I'll do. I will answer the questions that are in the comments on Facebook myself when I'm done. And just because I don't want you to feel like I've left you out, that would bum me out. And then we'll go from there. The final thing, let me show you. Again, there we go. Yeah, so I was thinking about evenings, sometime, 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern time, just because of, getting my kids to bed and than have time to do this. So again, thanks everybody. I think this is about to end. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Hope you have a great weekend, great Easter. And I'll see what the comments are and then hopefully do more of this in the future. So thanks a lot.